don't see us on the book yet, but Bri, you have the best smile.
Do you think?
I do. Like, your teeth are so like perfect. Great and bright white. I'm like completely jealous of you.
Don't be.
What? I should be. Look how beautiful that smile is. All right, welcome everyone. We're on. I did it. Congratulations. I'm Lauren Cadilac. This is my co-host Bri. And today our special guest is our friend, Kristina Ross.
Yay. We need an app. We need an app that does hand claps.
We do. Yes, we do. We need like sound effects.
We need a producer. We need a whole producer around here.
We do. Yeah, we're gonna have to find someone to do that for us. So Kristina, Bri, and I all went to law school together. And we all have like very different careers, right?
We do.
Yeah, I think that's cool because we're all lawyers, but we do such different stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So Kristina, tell us about what you do. I mean, you do something I never even imagined of in my life, you know?
Really? So I do sports entertainment, agency, and management. I'm an NFL sports agent. Before becoming an NFL sports agent, I was an MBA agent. I also practice law, like Lauren said. So I do probate and estate planning and real estate, business entity, just kind of a mesh of different things.
I do real estate and probate and that kind of mesh of everything that touches real estate.
Yes, ma'am.
I definitely am not an agent for athletes.
Okay.
So, okay, first, are you not doing NBA anymore?
I am not doing MBA anymore. So I am originally from Tyler, Texas. That's where I relocated, which is home for me. And so there are not a lot of professional basketball players here in East Texas. For anybody that knows about East Texas, we're all about Friday night football. We're all about Friday night lights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in making a decision about which professional sports to get it, sport league to get into, it just made sense to do football because there's so much talent that comes from East Texas. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of transitioned away from basketball and moved to football.
That's so neat. I mean, it's smart and cool also.
Absolutely.
How did I not know you were an NBA agent? I never knew that.
You didn't know that?
I knew that.
I don't think I knew because I thought so me and Kristina talk often.
We do.
And so at one point we talked about, since you had your NFL, you were an NFL agent, me becoming an NBA agent so that we could kind of dominate women,
Hopefully,
but it's not in my ministry to take another test. It's just not.
Yeah.
And so
agreed.
And I think that was the thing. So Bri and Lauren, I got the MBA certification right after law school. So
I remember that. And weren't you in Waco?
Say that again.
Didn't you move to Waco?
No. So after San Antonio, I moved back to Tyler. So I've been at Tyler since law school, since we graduated.
I thought you were in Waco doing NBA.
No.
Okay.
I was right here in Tyler, Texas.
But I knew you did NBA, and I thought it was so dope. And I
so
looked into it for myself once.
Say that again, Lauren.
I looked into it for myself once, and then I was like, no, I'm not taking it. I was like, Bri, like, yeah.
But you know what? Back in 2012, there was no test. You literally filled out your application, you submitted it, they did their background check on you, you paid your fee, you made sure that your annual dues were current, and that was it. And then some years after that, like the, NFL and MLB, they, added a test that you had to take. So I was like, no, I'm not interested in reinstating my MBA because I don't want to take another test. I'm tested out.
Did you take an NFL test?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah, it was a 3-day seminar in DC.
Wait, what?
Did you take a
seminar or test?
Say that again.
Was the 3 days for the seminar or was it 3 days of testing?
So it was a 3-day seminar. On that last day, you take a 3-hour test.
Oh.
Yeah, those first 2 days, they're basically kind of prepping you or going over the material that's going to be on the exam.
Okay. And did you study beforehand, or did you just kind of do the
Yes.
seminar and just do your thing?
Yes. Yes. So full transparency, I actually took the exam for the first time in 2017 and I didn't pass. It's an open book exam. So in my mind, it was like, okay, I'm just going to show up with my little CBA. I'm going to, you know, flip through the pages, find the answers. I'm going to be good. No, absolutely not. And so I didn't pass my first time in 2017. So I came back in 2018, actually studied and put the time and work that, you know, I needed to into it. And then I passed and became officially certified in 2018. So it's a beast. That exam is a beast.
It sounds like it. Do you have to be a lawyer to do that?
You do not have to be a lawyer. Most agents are lawyers, but that's not a requirement. If you're not an attorney, you have to have so many years of what they call negotiation experience.
Okay.
I believe, unless it's changed recently, it was either 5 or 7. I don't know. One of those numbers. You have to have 5 or 7 years of negotiating experience.
So if you like, Bri and I both negotiated contracts for corporations when we left law school, right? So if we hadn't gone to law school and we were just contracts negotiators and we did that for 5 to 7 years, we could go study and become NFL agents?
Correct. You could apply, submit your application, show up for the seminar, pass the exam, and become a certified agent.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm gonna just do it anyway, just because I think it's cool to say I'm an MBA.
Yeah, and that's for any other league as well. I mean, every league is going to have their own requirements and qualifications, but you don't have to be an attorney to be a certified agent in any league.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I don't know if I'm gonna be honest with you. These stories that I'm hearing about these agents that are not attorneys, so I don't like it. Like, I think that they should do something about that, because it's a lot of shadiness out there.
So you're saying, Bri, that you think that all the agents need to be attorneys?
Or at least go through some type of, maybe if not the full-blown law school experience, go through some type of legal training, because I just feel like when you hear somebody, and I know, Kristina, you've heard some things, you know what I'm saying? And they're usually coming from non-attorney agents, and I'm just like,
True.
And then the ethics and the morals ain't, always there.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask, is an agent, like when you become an NFL agent and you have a client, you're a fiduciary to them, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now, at a minimum, they should be trained on what a fiduciary is.
Absolutely. Yes. And now with the NFL, so, and this is kind of like the gray area in Bri, where you're talking about like ethics and, in the NFL, you can, so I know a lot of agents also serve as their clients' financial advisors. In the NFL, you have to be certified also as a financial advisor. Okay. I don't pretend, even in my legal career, I don't offer tax advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't crunch numbers. So I will very quickly send you to someone whose, expertise that is. But I think a lot of things get, how can I say this? There's a lot of misappropriation and shadiness that occurs when you're dealing with people's money. And I think that happens a lot in the NFL and other leagues as well.
Because they got a lot of money.
Absolutely.
So have you watched it? I know you have the TV show Ballers.
Yes. I'm a few seasons behind, but yes, I've watched Ballers.
Bri, you've never watched it?
Come on, Bri.
The Rock is so beautiful.
Because it looks like another, what's with Darwin and them? What was that show?
The Game.
Yeah, it looks like another one of those, and I just didn't feel like it.
I loved that show.
I think good. Denzel Washington's son, is in that series. It's good.
Thank you. I need not go further. Okay, The Rock is half naked half the time. I mean, it's a real eye candy show, and it's funny. I think it's really funny. The white guy who's in it is like a funny comedian, and I love that show. So I don't do sports. Okay. Like my sport is winning in a courtroom. All right. That's it. Right. You know, I'm a mock trial competitor. So,
Come on now.
in Ballers, they're the financial planners, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So
So Rock and his partner, the group that he works with, yes, they're on the financial side of it.
Okay. So would you, as the agent, like, let's pretend it's real Ballers and The Rock is really a finance guy. Would you, as the agent, would you refer your client to The Rock, or would you like go meet with The Rock and the client, or like how does that work?
Correct. As the agent, I would refer my client to someone like The Rock or The Rock's firm. Okay. Now, again, with the NFL, I can't even refer you unless you're a certified financial advisor. Okay. So I can get in trouble if I make a referral to somebody that's not certified. Now, if my client finds someone non-certified on their own and that's who they want to hire and go with, that's absolutely fine. Okay. But I have to recommend somebody that's certified through the NFL.
That makes sense. What about, do you have, because you're an attorney and your license is valid and active, when you're their agent, do you have attorney-client privilege?
So it depends on the scope of representation. So as your agent, my job is to basically make sure that you have a job, to, do contract negotiations, make sure as far as your training, you're going where you need to go, you're doing what you need to do. Now, anything outside of that, so for instance, you get in, and I don't do criminal law, but I'm just using this as an example. You get into trouble criminally and you want me to represent you. Well, that's something completely different. We're going to have to negotiate and talk about what my fee is going to be for that and what my representation is going to look like. Same thing for family law. If you need me to set up a business, XYZ. So as an agent, my job is to negotiate your contracts and to try and put you on an NFL team, make sure that you're working.
Okay. So if a player wanted like an agent that they could confide things in, they would have to have 2 agreements with you.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, for me personally, just how I am as a person, regardless of whether or not we have another agreement, I'm not going to go and just, put your business, out there.
No.
In the streets.
Right. In the streets.
I would never think you would do that. I'm thinking about, like, on Ballers, they get into some stuff that's maybe not on the up and up, right? And so I'm thinking about the client being like, yeah, I just did a bunch of cocaine, or, I don't know, and having a conversation with you that could be incriminating. Would you be forced to testify against them? Obviously, you're not going to run their business, right? You're not going to tell people that. Right. But can the government force you to come testify? When those conversations.
Is there a confidentiality between the player and his agent?
Right. Is there?
There can be. I've never had a client that asked me to sign an NDA or any sort of confidentiality agreement. Would I? Yeah. Probably so.
Okay.
That's good. That's a good question. I didn't even think about
that is a really good question, Lauren. And I didn't think about that in the context of Ballers, because there is a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. You remember the scene where they're like on the yacht and there's all those women and all that drugs
and
yeah. And so I feel like for me, when I do property tax protests, which I don't have to be a lawyer to do, I do them in my capacity as a lawyer so that I'll never have to testify against the client. And to me, that's part of the sales pitch, is like, you could tell me anything, right? Because I'm never going to be able to say anything about it.
Right. Attorney-client.
So I was wondering, and maybe you think about doing an agreement on paper so that you can have that privilege.
Absolutely.
Use that as a selling
point. Yeah. Like you said, that's a really good selling point. I mean, obviously, we all know this from going to law school together, but there are certain skills that you get from going to law school and being an attorney. Yeah. And I think that's one of the privileges, one of the advantages that attorneys have as agents over non-lawyers. It's not, I'm going to look at a contract and, unless it's 30, 40, 50 pages, it's not going to take me several days or weeks because we have that training. We know what to look for.
Right.
And so non-attorneys don't necessarily have that advantage. So you're absolutely right, Lauren. There are certain advantages that come with being attorneys that are agents.
And I would say this in regards to contracts and having advantages. You know, I don't know, and I'm sure as people or as attorneys actually who handle contracts, both of you as well. When people hand me contracts, and I've had people say, "Hey, you know, I have a contract. I read it over. I think it's really good, but I also want to do my due diligence and hire you to look it over." And on page 1, it's like red flags, and I'm like, so
don't sign.
Are we looking at the same contract? Because you're talking about something that looks really good, and I'm like, page 1 is a, you know what I'm saying, like a red flag. Like, what are we doing here? And so
because they don't know what to look for.
They don't know what they're looking for. And so,
Yeah.
like I said, when you're saying as a person who does not have that training, when you're saying, well, oh, it looks good, y'all, people out there, 9 times out of 10 is not good. It does not look good.
Right.
It's not good for you. And you should absolutely have somebody look it over.
Think about in contracts too, like the difference between may and shall.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're really short words that but they're a
huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hire an attorney, people. That's all we're saying. Hire an attorney.
You don't know how many trash contracts I read. And then they're mad. Like, you hired me to look it over. And then I'm telling you, you know, this is a dumpster fire. And then they're like, oh, well, I thought, you know, and of course it blows up the whole deal. But listen, I'd rather blow up your deal, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'd rather blow up your deal and not have you get into something that you're gonna regret later than for you to sign this trash contract that, number one, has nothing to do with y'all are even, you know, like the contract has clauses in there that has nothing to do with anything. And then number 2 is tying you up and your money up into stuff. And number 3 doesn't even clearly define everybody's roles and responsibilities and monies, and it's just I'm not a lawyer. I'm not gonna blow all of them up, but I'm just saying, like,
that's a fantastic point. And I know Bri knows this because we spoke a lot about it. The intersection between sports and entertainment law. I mean, they're separate practice areas, but there's a huge intersection. And so, you know, I don't pretend to be an expert or know anything in the entertainment world. That's why I shoot stuff to Bri and send her people and stuff like that. So really, it's important to urge these guys and women too, to go with somebody that you know and trust and that has the, you know, that's competent enough to be able to review or look over whatever it is that you need reviewed.
Let me ask you this on that intersection, because y'all two are the only people I know that do that kind of work, right? I do the real estate and it intersects with a lot of stuff, but none of what you do. So when, let's say you're the agent of John Doe NFL player, he has a fantastic year and he's hot. Nike wants him. So-and-so wants him. You know, Nespresso wants him to drink coffee in a commercial. I don't know, right? Where is that line, right? So like if he's doing commercials, that seems very entertainment-like to me. But then sponsorship seems very like, you know, you would go with your agent kind of thing. So where is the line, or is there a line between the two?
So I'm just going to address it very briefly, and Bri, you feel free to jump in. First of all, any client that I have, I'm going to automatically send them to Bri to make sure that all of their IP stuff is in order. Okay. You need to make sure that your intellectual property rights are protected. Before we start talking about sponsorship, endorsement, all of that, let's make sure that your name, image, and likeness, everything is protected the way that it needs to be. But when you're talking about, you know, Nike and Espresso and sponsorship, there are a lot of agents that also have that in their wheelhouse, and they will do that for their client. You also have some agencies that partner with marketing firms that will handle that on their behalf. So it's really kind of up to the agency, the agent, as far as what they're doing for the client outside of the contract negotiation. So for me, trusting Bri, knowing Bri, I'm going to send her the intellectual property. I'm going to send her anything that's going to, you know, fall in that entertainment wheelhouse so that she can take care of it and she can make sure that it's right.
Interesting. So speaking of likeness, something I've been wanting to talk to Bri about for like weeks. We haven't had the show, and we were waiting because we're gonna have you. So and you're gonna be great. Is it the NCAA, guys? I don't even know, right?
Yes.
The College Basketball Association. It went to the Supreme Court, right?
There was a Supreme Court case, Austin, I believe.
Okay, and so the Supreme Court said these kids can get paid for their voiceovers on these video games, and they can get paid for when they're on a Nike commercial or whatever, right? I just want to discuss that. I think it's honestly, I can't believe it had to go to the Supreme Court.
Me either.
Because that was their likeness, right? As Kristina just said, right? Britney Spears never had to go to the Supreme Court for her Pepsi, whatever. We always knew she was going to get it. So as a layperson who's not really into sports or anything like that, that's my 2 cents. Like it's stupid that it took this long.
Right.
But I want to know, oh, hey, Aaron. Aaron just commented. He's here. Aaron, are you in like 4 hearings right now? Okay, so I want to hear what y'all think about this.
So that's a good question, Lauren. And actually, me and Kristina spoke about it not too long ago, because it's new. The law just passed, I want to say July 1st, that they were able to do this. Now, let me not say the law passed, but they were able to start using their name, image, likeness. So it's NIL, July 1st. Okay, so this is
NIL is what?
Name, image, likeness.
I'm writing that down. But I'm learning so much today. Okay, all right, continue.
So we call it NIL for sure.
Having a session.
Yeah, so that just started on July. So it's a lot of gray areas, y'all. Like everybody is trying to figure it out as we speak. And there is no federal law in place last time I checked. Right now it's per state, right? So you have to follow, because there's no national federal law, everybody has to follow their state's laws regarding NIL right now. It's like an open, like it's
Hold on, Bri. Which state would it be? Would it be the state you came from or the state you play college ball in?
The state that you are a college athlete. So if you run or you play ball for the University of Texas law. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I think I agree with you. I think it's dope. I think, there's a lot of, I've been reading stories about athletes who are amazing painters that can now sell their paintings.
Nice.
Like let's think outside the games, right?
Right.
Amazing painters and now can actually sell his painting. For proceeds or for funds or whatnot. And so, and then like you said, the video games, I mean, they use their images on the video game, like they use their likeness, they use them on the video games and they're not getting paid for this. They use their voices, they're not getting paid. So now
don't they use their voices?
Yeah.
Don't the kids, I call them kids because I'm old now. Don't the kids go into like a recording studio and record that stuff?
I don't really know how they do it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I was thinking these kids are like showing up in a recording studio for free.
Well, no, but I think they bring them in. They bring them into the gaming quarter. They pay for that to come into there and do their images, and they have a computer thing that does.
Aren't the game peoples paying the school, or weren't they until this ruling came down paying the school in order to have access to the kids this way?
So I think that's one of those things that are like they may have made donations to the schools or whatnot. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things, it's an open field. I already have people calling me that want to do sponsorships, college athletes that want to do sponsorships that are into the NIL. So, I mean, this is huge. This is, especially for Texas, this is huge. We have a lot of good athletes here, y'all.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of them.
I kind of grew up around baseball a little, and I know like if you're a good pitcher, when you're in high school, they're going to use the hell out of you, right? Because you're good. And I know a lot of players will go to college and then they're being used aggressively because they're good pitchers, and then they hurt their shoulder, and now they don't have a future career, right? And so it only seems like just to me, right? I don't like using the word fair, just that they'd be able to make money while their arm is good. Especially since these schools seem to, or teams really are like using the heck out of them.
Benefit from it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But that's why this was such like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just gonna, as they start, because I this is one of those things where they just kind of threw it out there and they didn't inform anybody of the rules because they didn't know what, like this, they're making it up as they go type thing. So yeah, there's not a lot of information out there other than, hey, y'all can get money right now.
Yeah.
So it's like the Wild West though. And I think that sounds great. It's all
Mhm.
opportunity, right?
Pretty
Until
much.
they tell you no, it's
Until
a
they tell
yes
you
at
no.
this point.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
It's
And
dope.
like you said,
It's dope.
Lauren, I mean, for years, these schools and universities have made millions
Mhm.
off of these athletes. And you have some people that will say, well, they're getting a free education. They're getting a scholarship. But again, when you talk about what's just,
Mhm.
and like you said, God forbid you have a world-class athlete that hurts themselves, that injures themselves, and they can't go on to that next level and compete professionally. Well, their whole career, their whole livelihood has now been changed.
Right.
And so I think that's why this NIL is, the state legislation, and the NCAA interim policy is so important to pay these athletes, for the work that they're doing for the school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think I'm interested in looking to see, how this develops, and how this grows and how these athletes take advantage of this in the different many ways that they can. And so I'm excited. And where I would normally, so my dealings with athletes have been mainly overseas athletes and athletes who were in the NFL but are now retired. And, that's been my main dealings, and of course, Kristina deals with the ones that are in NFL currently. And so, but I'm excited because this opens up a whole nother realm for my law firm as well. To have my hands in.
Well,
even for you, Lauren, because again, I mean, these athletes, they're just like you and I. They have real world problems just like you and I, they're going to want to go and buy a house, and they're going to have issues with their spouse or the mother of their child. And so there are so many different things that we can help these athletes with. And that's one of the main reasons why I got into representation, not just helping them negotiate a contract, but solving, any sort of problem that they might face. Yeah.
And I never thought about Bri, to your point about the guy who's doing the art, right? I never thought about, who was it? Was it Sammy Sosa Jr.? And he played like 2 sports or something professionally to someone. No, maybe not. Anyhow, there was when we were growing up, there was a guy who played baseball and football, I believe, professionally.
Dion.
That's who it was. Dion Sims. That's right. So thinking about that, talented people are talented, right? And so the idea that Nelly, for instance, he had to choose between baseball and hip hop.
Master P too. Master P had to choose between basketball and rap.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that about
Master P. He was really talented. He made the NBA.
No kidding.
Yeah. I love Master P, y'all. They coming to that in November.
Me too.
So now someone like Master P or Nelly can do both, right? Because, if Nelly was playing for a college team and he made a song, the college team would probably want the money. The college would be like, that's our song. You did it while you're here. And now he wouldn't have to worry about that. Now, maybe he couldn't do both professionally as an adult or whatever, but to be able to make a painting and to sell your painting and not have to worry about some college trying to take, as if these colleges don't get enough money from us.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's like a whole world opening thing. Big time.
It's amazing. Huge. It's amazing. So y'all talk to an attorney in your state where you are going to college at to discuss your NIL options.
And don't do any shady business, because best believe the NCAA is regulating all of this. They made it very clear there is no, pay for play. So again, get you an agent, talk to an attorney, one of us, to make sure that there's no shady business and everything's being done above board.
Absolutely.
And get a tax-wise attorney as well, because you know, the IRS, as it is, they could somehow find a way to say getting the jersey and the shoes, and since you get to keep those are income. Now, I don't think they do that right now, but I could see them trying that, right? They try all kinds of things. So you need a good tax attorney to make sure that you are not overtaxed or taxed on shoes that you had to wear to play the game or something.
Right.
You know?
That's a great point. That's a great point, Lauren.
I'm working on my
because
own
now you can profit off your
Kristina.
NIL. Because you can profit off your NIL. I mean, it may behoove you to create a business.
Absolutely.
Now,
yes.
You know, and have that go. I mean, yeah, there's so many different ways that you can and should do it that you would need to talk to somebody to kind of, you know, hash out what's the best course for you to go. So I implore you to talk to somebody, but preferably one of us. Okay.
Of course. So Kristina, on the agent thing, so like the laws on the NIL are going to be state specific, right? But you as an agent, are you only able to help Texas players, or if someone's watching in Iowa and they have a son who's up and coming or a daughter who needs an agent, are you able to help them? What's the deal on that?
So as an agent, I am not limited to any particular state. So like I said, obviously I reside and I'm here in Texas most of the time. So I'm obviously representing Texas athletes, but I can represent a client in Oklahoma, California, New Mexico, wherever. The NCAA requires us to be certified in that particular state though. So every state is going to so for Texas, our certification, our agent certification is through the Texas Secretary of State. So we go, we fill out an application. We, of course, pay our fee because everybody wants money. And then you're accepted as an agent in the state of Texas. And so I would have to do that for each individual state that I also had a client that I wanted to represent.
Interesting. Yeah, because the state's got to get that money.
They got to get their money. It's all about the Benjamins.
It is. We were just talking about that at Ticket and Tyler, right?
Yeah.
We're on your way to Tyler. They're just trying to earn a living. They're trying to pay their bills.
Yep.
Off our backs.
But no, to answer your question, Lauren, I'm not limited to representing athletes in Texas. I can represent you wherever you are. I just need to make sure that I've gone through the proper measures to be certified in that state.
That's fantastic.
That is. That's cool. Are you certified in any other state right now?
Working on, well, not working, it's just a matter of me submitting the paperwork. I will be certified in Florida. I have a good buddy that is a sports agent in Miami. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my certification in Oklahoma because, you know, you got to get some of those OU players.
Yeah.
And then probably California.
I got an OU player for you.
Okay, come on now. So
another year. When do you need to start talking to them?
Well, I'm going to defer to the NCAA rules. Technically, as an agent, not until they're basically not until all of their eligibility has been exhausted.
Okay. What's that mean?
So basically, so you cannot go to the NFL unless you've had unless you're 3 years removed. So basically until you've played 3 years of college football.
Oh, post high school.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So obviously eligibility wise, I mean, you can play, depending on whether or not you redshirt, for most athletes, you have 4 years of eligibility, 4 years that you're in college. So as an agent, I'm technically not supposed to reach out to you or have any communication with you until your eligibility has been exhausted and you've, declared that you're going to go professional, depending on what sport you're in.
So until you're a senior.
You are junior
played all 3 years.
for the NFL, if you're going to go, to the NFL.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And, of course, with basketball, you have the one and done.
Yeah.
So, 1 year of college and then you can go to the NBA.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Okay. So, all my sports knowledge is based off of movies, like 100% of it, right? So you remember Jerry Maguire? There's that the white kid, I can't remember his name, like Buck or whatever, right? And Jerry's talking, that kid's in high school and Jerry's trying to be his agent. You're telling me that's it.
Jerry.
Maybe at that time that was allowed, but nowadays, no.
No.
You're not talking to high school kids.
Ross is not gonna talk to that kid.
Listen, y'all not gonna report me and have
No.
snatched.
No.
So, but I mean, that's how, in my mind, like, I thought that's how it worked. I thought like high schoolers start talking to an agent,
And let me say this, Lauren, the NCAA has rules. The NFL has rules. Every league has rules. Now, does that mean that rules are followed? No. No.
Right. Of course.
But no, I would not be talking to I would not be actively recruiting a high school student.
Okay. Well, I see that as positive and negative. Like positive in the sense that you got to go to college and get some years done, right? Let's do that. But I think that if you had the right agent, an agent like you, Kristina, who is, going to be honest and forthright and has the best interest of their client in mind, there's a lot of learning that could be done during that time of play that they're kind of missing out on, right? Like talking to the lawyers and stuff like that. When they're getting out of college, you're like, what, 23?
Yeah, 20.
Most kids nowadays don't even know how to write a check.
True.
Right? So I think, my opinion on that policy, which doesn't matter at all, I think that has positive and negatives. I feel like someone should be able to go talk to athletes and also say the things like, don't do pay for play or else you're not going to have a professional career, right? Like, don't get coked out on yachts in Miami or else you might lose out on your professional career. Like, I know that seems like common sense, but when you're a real young kid,
but maybe just not do it as an agent and do it as a consultant.
Right.
Oh, could you do that?
Well, I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah. And I was thinking along the same lines, Breeze. It's just kind of, as lawyers, we can give you general legal advice without forming an attorney-client relationship or privilege. Maybe as an agent, you can say, okay, these are some of the common pitfalls that I see among professional athletes. These are some things that you all need to stay away from. And I'm not saying it in my capacity necessarily as an agent. I'm not trying to recruit you. I'm just trying to tell you what to avoid.
Right.
So
you just can't recruit before a certain time frame.
But you could do like a YouTube channel where you gave tips and tricks, right, to young athletes. Okay. All right. And actually, I think that'd be a great.
I think that'd be amazing. Kristina, don't let me. So the parents of the OU kid will be on the boat. Please do not let me forget. I got a lot going on. Do not let me forget to make an introduction. So at least.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. We'll do.
You just reminded me of something I need to do, Bri.
Oh.
It's just like writing.
Life of a lawyer. We multitask and forget stuff.
Listen, I got ADHD. I don't know about anybody else.
Oh my God. I self-diagnosed myself with ADD. Obviously have ADD. I can't wear my nail, like your nails, Bri, are gorgeous, but I can't wear them that way because if I'm typing and like the sparkle catches my eye, I'm like, oh, sparkles. Oh, I get totally distracted.
Yeah, I don't know how I manage, but I do.
They look great.
I
wish I could do that, but instead I have to have non-distracting, boring hands.
Well, you know what, Lauren? I don't know how much, we don't have that much time, so maybe we can tackle this for next time, but we need to get into this Britney Spears thing.
Oh, yes.
I need to know your thoughts on that, because that's crazy to me.
I got some real opinions on that, for real.
We need to get into that maybe next time.
That would be a good one.
The intersection between entertainment and guardianship,
everything else,
listen,
it's real.
Here's what I will say about this: that shit would never take place in Texas. Full stop.
Yeah.
Period.
Why wouldn't it take place in Texas?
Shortly after we got out of law school, Texas changed their laws and put a lot of like walls between guardianship because appointing one human, a guardian over another human, takes away the rights of the human they're guardian over. So you got 4th, 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment issues, right? Like the Constitution, before we put people in jail, we have all this process. Even though guardianship isn't like jail, but it's still taking that person's right away. Like once you have a guardian, you can't make your own decisions. So Texas puts all kinds of blocks, like all kinds of blocks. And you know what? It makes me love Texas. Thank you, Texas. I appreciate that, because if someone's taking someone's right away, they should really, 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 really work for it.
The one thing Texas did right. The one thing.
We do some good stuff.
Well, I don't know, because these new abortion laws,
girl.
Listen, I'm not here for none of that.
We have really good criminal procedure laws that are, when it comes to the rights of men, we are incredibly good in Texas. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Even what they're trying to do, I say we, no, not we, even what Texas is trying to do with, voting rights. I mean, it's so much stuff that makes you just sit back and be like, really? This is what we're doing in 2021?
Right. Like, do I need to move? I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm moving for sure. I'm moving. There's no doubt.
Out of here.
I am. I'm going to Guyana, and then I'm going to Ghana. I have like a whole plan. Okay.
Take me with you to Ghana.
Okay.
I like to
Ghana is gorgeous, y'all. I watched a YouTube video on it, and that place is dopey dope. And I'm
listen, it's amazing y'all bring up Ghana, because my daughter has a swim class every Thursday, and the owner of the swim class just got back from Ghana, and she just told me this yesterday. And she was like, I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. It turned into 36 days. I didn't want to come back. And,
yes.
Let's go.
Like, really? And now I got to go to Ghana.
It's so dope.
Yeah.
Go look up on Google. There's this guy, or not Google, YouTube. It's called Passport Heavy. Ooh, he's pretty too. He's got a great
Passport
smile.
Heavy.
Yeah, girl.
Okay.
Let me write that down. Let me write that
down. And he did a 2-week Ghana trip, and I was watching it with my dude and his family. And my dude's from Guyana, right?
Okay.
But his great grandfather's from Ghana. And when they were all British colonies, the British could just send you places, right? So Guyana is like half Black, half Indian, because the British were like, we need your skills there. And they just shipped people over, and now you live here, right? And so my partner can just go to Ghana like anytime he wants. Like Guyana and Ghana have this like flow, because half the people in Guyana are from Ghana, right?
Right.
Okay.
This guy says something in this video that was so impactful to my partner. He was like, it's so cool to not be a minority. And I was like, well, my partner's like, yeah, he wants that for himself. And I think it'll be kind of cool to be a minority, right? Like, see what that's like and be in a place where I am like the one reflective human.
Right.
And I found out, because I'm so dead serious about this, it is really easy to transfer our law licenses over there. Really easy.
Look,
really
Lauren has done the research.
Yes,
girl.
I need to see about Panama. Transfer my license to Panama.
Okay, so Panama is another place. Panama City is like super dope.
Yeah.
And they basically, what I learned was, when they kicked the Americans out of the canal, their city just blew up, and it's awesome. And it's like, they have all these modern buildings. I mean, it's super cool. The Heavy Passport guy did a video there too.
It didn't always used to be like that. I actually do not like it built up. I liked it because it didn't start getting built up until people started knowing about Panama, and white people started going there, and then buildings are erecting, and it's starting to look different. And before, it didn't look like that. It was literally what it was, right? It was now they're putting American type buildings up, and that's not the norm. I mean, like, that's not culturally like how they would have built it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So and so when I go, Panama looks completely different. I'm like, well, I don't understand what's going on.
You don't like it. I don't like it.
Isn't there a big Chinese influence there? I know throughout Africa, the Chinese are investing like crazy. And that's part of the reason the capital of Ghana is so modern, is because Chinese money has kind of flooded into Africa and Ghana and different countries like that. I don't know. I think it's dope. Like, that, in my mind, going to Africa now is like being in America in the 1870s, or a white dude in America in the 1870s, right? Like the Industrial Revolution, all this stuff that you were able to like be part of something, building something, creating something. And that's what they're doing right now. Yeah. And so if we can easily go over there, there's only 2,500 lawyers in the whole country that has 25 million people. Yeah, so there's only 1.1% or something. So it's guaranteed job, right? Like, you just have to show them you're fit and that your laws are analogous, like your legal system's analogous to theirs, which it is because we were both British colonies.
That's good.
I got my passport. Y'all tell me when.
You got to do it. Okay, we don't have much time, so we have to shamelessly plug ourselves. This has been a great show. It's so nice to talk to you, Kristina. Remember that time you drove me home from Houston?
I did. From a Balsa convention, right? Balsa, yeah. We had so much fun.
It was fun. Yeah, it was great. Okay, so shamelessly plug yourself, my friend.
Oh, okay. So Kristina Ross, sports agent, attorney. I'm in Tyler, Texas. You can, I'm on Facebook, I'm on IG, I'm on LinkedIn. You can email me. Any of my contact information is accessible on any social media platform. So if you ever have any legal questions or need advice regarding sports entertainment agency and management, just find me and I'll get you taken care of. And thank you all for having me on the show. I know we talked about this before we went live, but I miss seeing you all. I thoroughly enjoyed law school because of you all. You made it so much fun. And so thank you for having me on this morning.
Aww, we love you too, Kristina.
All right, Bri, your turn to shamelessly plug.
Okay, guys. So it's your girl, Bri, owner of the Bethancourt Law Firm. And of course, we do your trademarks, your copyrights. We're going to do all your entertainment contracts that you need, reviewing them, drafting them, negotiating them. We're going to creatives. If you're a creative in the creative sphere, I'm your girl. Okay, I'm your attorney for you. I help you with your contracts, all that good stuff. So give me a call, guys. Call me at 1-833-4-BRI-LAW, or you can find me on Instagram at Issa_lawyer, or you can find me on Facebook at the Bethancourt Law Firm.
Yay!
And I'm Lauren Cadillac, as per what you can see next to me here. And I own and operate Cadillac Law. We're in the DFW area, but we can work through all of Texas. I'm working on my LLM in tax. So hopefully, Kristina, you'll be able to send your athletes to me, and the three of us can be a power team for these athletes and make sure they're not paying taxes. We're trying to pay as little taxes as possible, and so on and so forth. Cadillac Law is 972-845-1200, and I spell Cadillac 1L. So thanks everyone for joining us today. This has been a great show.
Yeah,
so
thank you, Kristina.
I learned so much today. It's great. Yeah, thank you.
Love y'all. Everybody have a good
bye, ladies. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.